I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC lightweight contender Beneil Dariush explains why he's pretty pissed off at Charles Oliveira ahead of their fight at UFC 288. Beneil Dariush isn't happy with Charles Oliveira ahead of their UFC 288 fight, co-main event, I believe it's co-main event. Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira are set to serve as the co-main event ahead of their bout on May 6th in New Jersey. It's a massive fight for the lightweight division as the winner is likely to be the number one contender versus Islam Makhachev later this year, October, in Dubai. Although it is a big fight for Beneil Dariush. He says he is a little pissed off at Charles Oliveira for delaying the scrap. That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Hold on, let me see. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little pissed off at Charles Oliveira. We should have done this fight in early March. I should be chilling right now, spending time with my baby, Beneil Dariush told the Shmoo. But I have to do my practice. I have to do my recovery stuff. I have to eat right, lose weight, and spend time with my baby. Not gonna lie, pretty pissed. I'm going to make sure I'm going to be as ready as possible, is the way I'm going to put it. When Beneil Dariush with Beneil Dariush being pissed off at Charles Oliveira, he plans to make the Brazilian pay for the Brazilian. He plans to make Charles Oliveira pay for the quote unquote delaying the fight. Although Beneil Dariush is ready to go all three rounds, he does think he can finish Charles Oliveira at UFC 288 to secure a title fight versus Islam Makhachev. The game plan is to be perfect. If we fight three rounds, he doesn't get anything from me, Beneil Dariush said. I win every second. I win every position. I dominate the fight. That's the game plan. I believe I will finish him before the end of the third round, but my focus is on the 3 round decision, I guess. Beneil Dariush enters his UFC 288 fight riding an 8-fight win streak. Should he finish Charles Oliveira, it's likely let's just say it's likely the winner of Beneil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira will face, as I said, Islam Makhachev for the lightweight strap at UFC 294 in is that October? In October in Dubai. Wow, this is interesting. It feels like kind of a new, not a new Beneil Dariush, but a more vocal Beneil Dariush. I remember earlier this year he was asking to fight Dustin Poirier. I think Poirier said that Beneil Dariush didn't really bring enough heat. He told Poirier to retire, right? A few weeks ago or recently, Beneil Dariush took a shot at Conor McGregor. Like he's talking about Conor McGregor in testing. He's also talking about Islam Makhachev. He was taking a shot at the champion, saying Islam Makhachev is running off to other divisions. He should be defending his belt in the lightweight championship, in the lightweight division. So this is interesting. I'm always a fan. Like, listen, I'm always a fan of when MMA fighters sell themselves, when they sell the sport of MMA, when they promote themselves. It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree with the statements. I am a huge fan, obviously as a content creator, but I'm still MMA casual, right? But a huge fan of when people go out there and just sell themselves. I feel like this is a great way to sell, we're still in entertainment business, right? So with Beneil Dariush telling everybody what he said, hold on, let's go to the precise quote. He's mad at Charles for something, and then he says this, like, this is a fight you want to see. When a fighter says, I will win every second, I will win every position, I will dominate the fight. That's the plan. I believe I will finish him before then. Okay, right. That's a fight you want to see. I believe Charles Oliveira recently said that he wasn't going to take a step back. That he wasn't even going to go in with some kind of game plan or something. No strategic plan, something like that. I don't know. The one thing I do want to mention about this is that it feels like both of them are hyping this up. I think in the back of their minds, something about, this is only a 3-round fight, right? So it feels like both of them are like, hey, I'm going to put my foot on the gas pedal, we don't have rounds to quote unquote waste. We don't have time to, take a round off. You lose a round. We can't really afford to lose any rounds in this fight. So you can't really afford to lose a position, to lose, to take a step back, to lose octagon control. I think that's what both fighters in many ways are saying, about this fight. I don't think they're just saying like, I'm easily just gonna walk through Charles Oliveira, or Charles Oliveira saying I'm easily gonna walk through Beneil Dariush. I think both of them are kind of low-key saying that, this is a 3-round fight. This is for the #1 contendership, right? Charles Oliveira was champion, recently. So this should have been a 5-round fight, but this is only a 3-round fight. So I don't have time to, necessarily lose a round, lose a position, get taken down, and have him, have my opponent, in top position, to end the round. Like that's going to be a real big problem in a 3-round fight. This is a co-main event fight of UFC 288, right? I believe that is headlined by Henry Cejudo versus Aljamain Sterling for the championship. But yeah, let me know who you think is going to win this fight. Like I said, I'm a fan of this new Beneil Dariush taking shots, not just playing it quietly. He doesn't have to comment on Islam Makhachev wanting to fight the welterweight champion. He doesn't have to comment on Conor McGregor testing. He doesn't have to comment on Dustin Poirier saying he didn't want to fight. Beneil Dariush told Dustin Poirier, if you don't want to fight me, then retire. Right? Like what are you doing? Like, if you don't want to fight me, then retire. And Poirier was like, well, I don't really want to fight Beneil Dariush because he doesn't really, light a fire under me. Basically, he doesn't talk trash. He's quiet, kind of. And then Beneil Dariush told him to retire. And I thought it was crazy because if you look at this fight right here, it's Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush for what everyone is basically saying is a #1 contendership fight. I don't understand why Dustin Poirier didn't take this fight, right? Like, now Dustin Poirier is going into a pretty dangerous fight with Justin Gaethje, whereas he could have taken the fight versus Beneil Dariush, and basically with a win over Beneil Dariush, he would have basically been the #1 contender, right? So I was a little bit surprised about that. Maybe the UFC and didn't offer the fight to Dustin Poirier. Another thing I would like to say about the point of this article is that Beneil Dariush says that he's pissed off at Charles Oliveira for this fight happening in May. Is that the reason? Is that, specifically, did the UFC offer this fight earlier and then Charles Oliveira said, no, let me take a few more months off? Or did the UFC offer this one? So, because if the UFC didn't offer the fight earlier, and, Charles Oliveira accepted, the first opportunity, which was made, then why would Beneil Dariush be mad at Charles Oliveira? Well, I guess he's insinuating that the UFC was offering this fight earlier. I guess for maybe UFC 284 with Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. But Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev, weren't they the co-main events of that? So I don't know if the UFC would have offered Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush on that card. Maybe, I guess he was saying, the next best card would be Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya, right? That's the next best card. So that's only a month earlier than May. So I don't really know. Maybe it's just Beneil Dariush just hyping himself up and getting giving himself another reason to be mad at Charles Oliveira. But let me know your opinion of this story. Who do you think is going to win this fight, right? That's what it comes down to. Who's mad at who? Who made who wait? Who accepted the fight late? Like, it doesn't matter. None of that matters at this point. The fight's going to happen May 7th, 2023 in New Jersey. Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. The winner will most likely be the #1 contender to fight Islam Makhachev later on this year. I definitely don't usually put my editorial opinion in these stories, but I will say this. I am a fan of Charles Oliveira, right? But I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about UFC lightweight contender, could be future #1 contender if he beats Charles Oliveira. UFC lightweight contender Beneil Dariush explains why he's pretty pissed off at Charles Oliveira ahead of their UFC 288 co-main event fight. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.